Welcome back to Limitless Sports with Brennan and Dave with our fifth episode. When we first started this, I didn't think we were going to make it this far. I thought we would phase it out, but we're back for episode 5. So it's going to be a great morning with Brennan here, and we're going to get back to some content. We got a new segment this morning, but let's jump in and let's get to some content. So, Brennan, how about the national championship game on Monday night? What'd you think?
A lot closer than what the box score indicated. Alabama threw that 79-yard pick six at the end of the game, kind of skewed the score a little bit. They were going in to tie the game up. They needed a touchdown and 2 points. They would have tied the game.
Yeah.
Young threw a pick six, end of the game.
You talk about
Congratulations to Georgia.
You talk about the box score. Let's break down some statistics real quick. So you've got, if you just look at the team stats, Georgia threw for 224. Alabama threw for 369. Georgia ran for 140. Alabama ran for 30. That was the biggest thing in my mind, was that Alabama's running attack got shut down, which I thought was going to happen. I mean, look what they did look what Georgia did to Michigan's running attack. They shut them down.
We talked about this, last week when we were talking about previewing the game. There was two things Alabama had to do. They had to run the football about as half as good as what they did against Cincinnati. Didn't happen.
It was like a fourth.
Bryce Young couldn't turn the ball over. He did 2 or 3 times with 2 interceptions and even a fumble, I think. Can't remember.
Definitely 2 interceptions. Let me see the fumble. No, he didn't have a fumble.
No.
They had 2 other fumbles though.
The whole first half of that game, it was like what is that? The unstoppable force versus the movable object.
Yep.
9-6 at halftime. You're thinking, man, this is going to be one of those 16-10 kind of games that's going to put you to sleep. But
I know.
Ended up being a higher score than what we thought.
I was very shocked watching the game. Like you said, the stat line doesn't show everything, but you can see how much they disrupted Bryce Young. Now, ESPN stat line is weird because they show Bryce Young as 4 carries for negative 43 yards. They just show the sacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a huge difference right there. Losing 43 yards on 4 sacks, it's huge. But then you look at the receiving totals too. I mean, Jamison Williams had 4 catches. That was it.
He got banged up in the first half, early in the first half.
Yeah.
So as soon as that happened, you immediately thought in the back of your mind, Georgia's going to win this football game some way, somehow.
And it was sad too, non-contact injury for him, but I don't know. We finally saw Bryce Young struggle again.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great quarterback. He's a product of his talent around him.
He's only a true sophomore, though. I mean, let's take that into consideration.
Right.
So, he's going to be back next year.
I think
something to prove, I think.
The battle next year in quarterbacks between him and C.J. Stroud is going to be a great battle.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a national championship next year.
The two of them are going to duke it out all year long. It's going to be great. But I think it's just a heck of a story for Stetson Bennett. Walk-on quarterback, wins the national championship. I don't know if you saw this story. I didn't send it to you. I think it was Thursday or Wednesday. He was back in Georgia serving in the drive-thru at Raising Cane's.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so it was kind of a cool story.
But he did what he had to do to win that football game.
Mm-hmm.
He threw it accurately.
17 for 26, 224, 2 touchdowns.
Can't ask for any more than that.
And they had a good running attack. They had 30 carries for 140 yards.
Is that between Cook and?
That was a couple cast of characters, and then even has Stetson having 8 carries for negative 24 too. I mean, White had 84 yards, Cook had 77 yards. Yeah, I mean, you look at the statistics. Alabama statistically beat them. They had 22.
Yeah, you see this all the time in college football. A team just self-destructs a little bit. I mean,
22 first downs compared to 20 for Georgia. 9 for 20 on third down compared to 4 for 12. Again, another stat they beat. Overall yards, they beat them by 35. Passing yards, they beat them by 100 and some. They got crushed in running.
Mm-hmm.
Penalties, they had less, but they had 2 turnovers.
Time possession was close to even.
Time possession, they had them up by 3 minutes. So it's definitely a crazy kind of a statistic. I love those kind of things.
I mean, in football, you think about 3 minutes of time possession. I mean, you can't get much more close than that.
Well, but if you look at the play-by-play, First drive, Alabama takes 14 plays, kicks a field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got 3-and-out.
That's the difference in the game.
Yeah.
Those field goals.
Then after the 3-and-out by Georgia, 5-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. Then Georgia drives down for a field goal. The end of the first quarter, into the second. Then Alabama answers a field goal. Then it's another punt. Then it's another field goal. I mean, it was 9-6 at half. So it was definitely a good defensive
That whole first
game.
half, you're like, oh my, this is two gladiators just going at it in an arena for, the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I'm excited the season's over. There's going to be a lot of good content to talk about them as we go through the preseason and getting ready for next year. Making a lot of picks. But one thing I hate, but we're going to do it right now. They always try to make your 2022 like who's going to win the Heisman.
Oh my! And right now, there's two obvious front runners. I think
That's it.
And there's probably another third or fourth name that's an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be between Stroud and Young again. I wouldn't be shocked if Bryce Young won it again.
No,
at all.
We'll be surprised to see Alabama's going to develop their receivers around Jameson leaving, Mechie leaving. Like, it's not that their talent pool is dry, because it's not. I mean, they got talent coming through the pipeline, but Ohio State
Their
has
second stringers or starters on mostly every other team.
Correct. I think Ohio State's depth to replace our star players is a little bit better. We'll see. Ohio State cleaned house for the coaching staff. They got rid of the offensive line coach. Brought in Justin Fry from UCLA, I believe. And then our new D coordinator from the Pokes, Jim Knowles. He pounced the whole staff. Got rid of the secondary coach, corners coach, and linebackers coach. The only guy that survived was Larry Johnson, which is good. But it'll be an interesting preview for next year. We'll talk more about football playoff and recruiting and bowl prep and all the different things as we go throughout the spring and fall. So let's change it up a little bit. Let's go to our next one. So let's jump in. It's a big Sunday in NFL. Now, I will put this disclaimer out there. We are recording this after 2 games have been played in the playoffs, but
our picks were made
before Friday, so I'm not too worried about them. We're honest with each other, so I'm going to tackle my bracket first in my playoff bracket.
You want to go through your whole bracket at a time, or you just want to do AFC, NFC?
I'll go through it real quick. I'm not going to jump into it much. All right, so I've got – I got to pull it up somewhere else because I put it on my computer and not on my phone. Okay, so I took Bengals over the Raiders yesterday, 4-5. I took the Bills over the Pats, of course. And then I'm being a homer. I think the Steelers are going to pull it out today. I'm going to preview this game later on in the podcast. I'm taking the Steelers. So that is number 4 moving on, number 3 moving on, and number 7 moving on. When you get to the NFC, I've got the Rams beating the Cardinals. I've got San Fran pulling the upset over Dallas. I think Dallas has too many players banged up, and they're not going to come back strong. And I got the Bucks over the Eagles. So that puts us into the divisional round next week with Titans versus Steelers. I got Titans winning that game. Sorry, Steelers. I don't think we can pull off 2 weeks in a row. Because with Derrick Henry back, it's a difference maker. Then I got the Bills versus the Bengals. I think this is going to be one of the best games. If those two get to match up against each other, I'm very excited for that matchup. That's why I want to see the Steelers win. Well, not only for Ben, but I want to see this matchup happening. So then I got the Titans versus the Bills in the championship for the AFC. In the NFC, I got the Pack playing San Fran, which I got the Pack winning that game, especially up in Lambeau and in the cold. Then I got the Rams going to Tampa Bay. And without a real running game right now, and Tampa Bay's got injuries, no Antonio Brown after his episode, I got the Rams advancing to the championship as well. So, Titans, Bills, Packers, Rams. Titans, Bills, I think it's going to be a great game if it happens. I don't think the Titans can stop Josh Allen, but I don't think the Bills can really stop Derrick Henry either. I think this game depends on the location, since it's going to be in Tennessee. I think it's going to create a more atmosphere that they can have more of a shootout. If it was in Buffalo, it would be 100% pick Buffalo in this pick. But I'm going to take Buffalo going on to the championship and going on to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, I got Pack versus Rams. This was hard for me because Aaron Rodgers statistically and historically has struggled in the NFC Championship game, but this is the year he's going to get it done because he wants to give a big middle finger to the Pack's organization and wants to get out. So he's going to go to the Super Bowl. I got Bills Packers in the Super Bowl. Go Pack, go. Cody Hawkins, if you're listening, it's the one time I ever picked your Packers. But go Pack, go. 27-20 Super Bowl winner.
Packers over the Bills.
Packers, Bills.
I like that, Dave. I like that.
All right, break yours down.
So we'll start off with my AFC conference first. Wild card weekend, I took Kansas City over Pittsburgh. I don't even think this is going to be a game. I have the Chiefs winning like 34-17, doubling them up a little bit.
So wait, you have them covered?
Absolutely.
Really? I don't.
I took the Buffalo Bills over New England. This was a shocker game last night. I mean, come on. I mean, everyone thought this was going to be lower scoring. The wind chill supposed to be up to negative like 15 last night. I don't even hit that.
The Bills just ran through
beat them by what, 30?
37. Wasn't it 47-10?
47-17.
Oh, they split that late touchdown.
Garbage time.
They finally showed how overrated Mac Jones was and how much his defense was helping him the entire year.
They don't have receivers. They don't have offense. They have Mac Jones, and that's about it.
Did you see that lineman touchdown they had last night?
No, I shut it off at halftime. I saw like 7-3. I'm like, you know what? This game is.
Well, their offensive coordinator for the Bills are trying to get a head coaching job, so he was like, I'm going to show off tonight, and he did.
I took the Bengals over the Raiders. I took them over by about 10 last night. And they went in and won by, what is it, 7?
With that controversial touchdown.
Yeah. So we'll go to the NFC. I have Tampa Bay over Philadelphia today. I really don't think this is going to be a game. I think Philadelphia got it by the skin of their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts is not an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry, Eagles fans, but he's not. I took Dallas over San Fran in a close one. This was also my upset special this weekend. I think San Francisco has some great players. Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, Mitchell. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo in these kinds of games. He got to the Super Bowl a few years ago, ended up blowing that, 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to Kansas City.
Yep. The only reason I picked San Fran in this one was because I think defensively it's going to be a defensive game. But go ahead.
And then the Monday night game, which is absolutely ridiculous by everybody's standards. I took the Los Angeles Rams over the Arizona Cardinals on a close 24-20 kind of game. So in the NFC, I have the Bucs, the Cowboys, and the Rams advancing. In the AFC, I have the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals.
So you make that good comment though, not to break it up a little bit. What do you think they're going to do next week scheduling wise?
I don't
that
know.
Monday night game, for God's sake,
Monday night game
has
like
to.
Sunday night. They have to.
Well, it'll be the second Sunday game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They have to be playing the Sunday night game because would it be 4-8?
No.
No, it'd be 1-4.
1-4, 4-8 on Saturday.
4 o'clock game. That's as close as you can get.
Yeah, that's what I'll be interested to see. Like the AFC, I bet you.
When they added this extra team, it made things so much more complicated because you don't want to play it Saturday at 1 o'clock because nobody's home.
I bet you they're going to do AFC and NFC on one day. They're not, because all the NFC's playing.
One game, one AFC, one NFC.
No, because the NFC is all playing Sunday and Monday. I bet you they put all the AFC on Saturday, all the NFC on Sunday. It'll be interesting to see.
I would be shocked by that, but I mean, they used to mix it up interleague on each day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be different.
Used to do. Who knows if they're actually going to do that? This extra wild card team and stuff, it makes no sense. You're watering down a product. You're playing a game that doesn't need to be played.
Yep.
So, like I said, my AFC, I have the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals advancing. So the Tennessee Titans will take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I love this matchup. Derrick Henry coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at the playoffs right now, and you're probably going to agree with me on this. The two most complete teams from the eye test, I think, are Dallas and Cincinnati. Defensively, offensively,
I think Cincinnati's
run the football.
They're 1 year too early.
We'll get into that in a little bit for me, but I think if you look at the most complete teams right now, it's Dallas and Cincinnati. Younger teams.
I just think Dallas has an injury bug.
Rodgers anymore.
I don't trust the injury bug, man. I think that's what I don't know.
I have Cincinnati taking down Tennessee 28-24, kind of in a shootout game. I like how Burrow throws the football and just doesn't care. I think he's trying to prove a point that even though he was the number one overall pick, he was overlooked in college, in
Yeah,
high school, everything.
I got to watch him play a state championship game in high school. It's kind of cool.
And then in my second divisional round game in the AFC, I have the Chiefs and the Bills. The Bills already handed the Chiefs their ass once this season. It
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
even close. I think
no,
it was 38-20. Might have been even worse than that. So I have the Chiefs revenging that loss. I think they're hitting on all cylinders right now. They've been playing their best football these past few weeks. I think that Week 18 game against Denver was a flaw. They didn't have a lot of players playing. I have the Chiefs winning that game. Close one, sandwich game. 27-20.
it's hard when you like. It's hard to compare our matchups because they're all different. If one team wins or loses, it changes the whole, which is cool with the NFL.
Yeah. So I have the Chiefs and the Bengals advancing to the conference championship in the AFC. Let's get back up to
Ooh.
my NFC picks. In the divisional round, I have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Los Angeles Rams. That's going to be at Lambeau. It's going to be cold. Guess what? Matthew Stafford played in that division for 12 or 13 years. Do you think it's going to make a difference to him?
Him, no. I,
No.
I don't know about the rest of
There's
the
some
team.
other players that have played in cold. Aaron Donald's from Pittsburgh. Played in this his whole life.
OBJ.
OBJ played in Cleveland for, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah. I can see that look.
There's other guys.
And New York. So
I have the Rams taking down Green Bay. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers anymore. I think he's a flawed quarterback in the playoffs. I think he's easy to read. Los Angeles, 31-28. Close one.
all right.
And then my second game, I have Tampa Bay and Dallas. I mean, come on. It's still the Cowboys. They're still a younger team.
That's why I don't trust them today. I think they're going to choke.
Tampa Bay 34-30. Brady's going to have his team ready to go. I know a lot of people writing off Tampa Bay. We've heard this story before. They're not good enough. We heard it in New England the last 4 or 5 years he was there. Guess what? He won 2 or 3 more Super Bowls.
Yep.
So I have Tampa Bay and Los Angeles in my NFC Championship. In my AFC Championship, I have Kansas City and Cincinnati. In my AFC Championship,
So that puts that game in Kansas City then.
that game will be in Kansas City, and the other game will be in Tampa Bay.
Hmm.
But come on, AFC Championship. Talk about points.
Oh, if that matchup happens,
Kansas City and
100%.
Cincinnati, it already happened once this year.
It was a great game.
If it happened in Kansas City, it would have been the other way around. Kansas City would have won it. Arrowhead's the hardest place to play at in the NFL.
Is that your pick?
I have Kansas City beating the Bengals 38-30,
Which is similar to the score last time.
which is very similar to the score last time. So I have Kansas City advancing to Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. And then my NFC Championship, I have the Bucs and the Rams. It already happened once. Brady looked
I
awful.
forgot about that game. Yeah.
Brady looked awful. I like the Rams defense. I never pick the team that goes all in. They sign OBJ.
Wait a second.
They add Von Miller.
You're picking the home game.
I'm picking the home team.
You get the home team for the Super Bowl.
Back-to-back years.
Yeah, they did make that prediction. They thought going into this year was going to be the Chargers. They didn't think it was going to be the Rams.
I think the Chargers are still a year away. Maybe
Yeah,
good football team. Brennan
Herbert's
Staley's
not ready
a good
yet.
head coach. To most people, he's a good head coach. I think he's a good mathematician, and that's about it. Going for and fourth down the percentages. So my picks, I have the Rams beating the Buccaneers, advancing to the Super Bowl 56, playing at home at SoFi Stadium. And I have the Chiefs beating the Bengals in the AFC Championship. And my Super Bowl pick would be the Kansas City Chiefs over the Los Angeles Rams.
You think the Rams are going to lose at home?
31-27.
Wow.
Chiefs Kingdom. Tyreek Hill, Super Bowl 56 MVP.
So how much are you going to cry today if the Steelers beat the Chiefs? You're going to cry tears of joy because Ben wins a game. Your picks in the garbage.
And I really think this. If Pittsburgh were to win today, I wouldn't be shocked if they came out and steamrolled Tennessee. I wouldn't be at all. They're going to have the momentum.
I'm telling you.
Hype. They have that, we're not supposed to be here, so up yours attitude.
We're going to talk about the preview. We're going to get into it. So, all right. So you got Chiefs. I got Pack. Difference?
Pack over Bills. I got Chiefs over the Rams.
Yeah. Well, it depends on.
Which is nice because we didn't share our Super Bowl picks all
Nope.
week, so which was
Well, it depends on, and like the NFL is so unpredictable because of how the matchups change. So you could end up figuring it out, and we could have somewhat similar, and then it ends up being different. So we shall see. But that's what we're looking at Super Bowl wise. Public service announcement for me. If you guys are listening, my travel softball team is launching their Super Bowl pools today. Hopefully by the day or tomorrow. So if you want to get involved and buy a couple, we're doing 4 different ones each for one team. So we'll have it out there. Super Bowl pools are a great way to try to make some money. But all right, let's jump into the previews. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
you can go first.
All right. Brennan and I are trying to figure out which games we wanted to preview, and with us recording this on Sunday, I wanted to take the AFC, he wanted to take the NFC, so we kind of had to agree. And I didn't mind doing the Chiefs-Steelers game, and I think there's a lot to talk about anyway. So let's dive into the matchup from before. So the Steelers go into Kansas City, a little shorthanded. Everybody knew that all we had to do was win 3 out of 4 games. It's the game they were writing off. They go into Kansas City and get stumped, 36-10. Team looked terrible. Ben looked terrible. Our defense couldn't stop anything. And the bad thing was that they didn't have Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill was just coming off of COVID. He didn't do anything. And they still steamrolled us. Najee had a decent day. He had 93 yards. But it was kind of we know we're going to lose. We didn't try. But there's a lot of storylines going into today's game that are a lot different. Let's talk about the Chiefs at first. Chiefs stumbled last week. They didn't play a lot of people. But I see.
They didn't have the Hill playing, which is their best athlete, I think.
But you know what, though? Like, I don't. In one way, it takes a very veteran coach, which Andy Reid is, to be able to handle that change, right? So you don't get those players playing, and now you got to turn it around, and they've got to play the next week. They got to get ready to go again. It worries me a little bit for them. Can they have the consistency? I mean, Mahomes played well. I'm not worried about him. Hardman had a decent game. Kelsey did okay. But I think the question mark's going to be, can Kansas City run the ball today?
Edward Delaire isn't playing today. That's really big.
It's big.
I think some other running backs. Darrell Williams.
Darrell Williams is good.
Gore, I can't remember his first name. He's okay.
That is
he tore it up against the Steelers.
Derek Gore, yes.
Derek Gore. He tore it up against the Steelers last time.
That's on Kansas City's side of the ball. They have to prove offensively that they can run the ball tonight. Now the Steelers are the worst in the league, but the last time they shredded us. So the last time, I'm pulling up the stats right now, they had 127 yards rushing against us on 35 attempts. You know what's crazy? Steelers outrushed them. The stats don't show how that game really was. It felt like it was like a run fest and they just ran all over us. They really didn't. And I looked a little bit into the statistics on our side of the defense. We'll talk about more later. There were players that didn't get a lot of snaps in that game. So on Kansas City's side of the ball, they can throw the ball. They know how to throw the ball. There's no doubt that Mahomes is going to at least throw for 250 today. Can they run the ball? Now they're defensively. They got to be able to shut down Najee. Can they do it? We'll see.
Yeah, that's the big thing. If they can shut down Harris, I mean, the game's pretty much won. You can't rely on Roethlisberger to throw it 40-plus times to win a game. This hasn't been in 2015. This has been in 2022. He's 39 years old, going to be 40 in, March 3rd?
Yeah, something like that. So let's talk about the Steelers' X Factors today. So, 3 weeks ago we played that game.
Day after Christmas.
Chris Wormley was out with COVID. He didn't play. Devin Bush didn't play either. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't remember.
That was the game. Hold on, let's see. I believe. Yeah, Bush didn't play. Spillane had a heck of a game. He had 13 tackles. But Bush didn't play. We didn't have Joe Hayden. No, Joe played. There's a couple other people we had on COVID. I know Bush was one of them. The other one was Chris Wormley. He's playing today. Wormley's a big hole on the defense. He takes up a lot of space. He plays well. TJ Watt played 40% of the snaps. You look at his stat line, 1 tackle. He was hurt. He had that broken rib or cracked rib or whatever it was. He was hurt. That's defensively. There's 3-4 starters right there that didn't play in that game the first.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got to get strategic because I can see it right now. Devin Bush is going to get stuck on Travis Kelce a couple plays and he's going to make him look like an idiot. 100%. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. So Najee played well, but offensively, excuse me, didn't do bad. But the person that had 8 targets in this game was a man by the name of Ray McCloud.
We ripped him on that show.
Horrible. And he was terrible that day. He didn't have the most targets because Claypool had the most. Or no, I'm sorry. Johnson had the most at 9. But someone's back today. Juju Smith-Schuster came back from the dead. Season-ending shoulder surgery. And he's playing. Now, the question is, how much does he play today? Is he in game shape? Can he take hits? I don't know.
I mean, we're going to find that out. I mean, I was watching the news one day at work on my lunch break, and, they're coming, Johnson's on the news or whatever, and I guess, they were interviewing him or whatever, and he's saying guys are looking at Juju putting on his cleats and his shoulder pads and his helmet, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, well,
he didn't tell anybody.
Practice,
I think he told Tomlin it was it. Like, he didn't tell the receiver room at all. That was surprising.
I mean, that's a good surprise to have, but I mean, it definitely helps. Juju's the one receiver on this team that's an excellent blocker.
And that's what I want to talk about. Right. Well, and so it's his shoulder. So for a while, he wasn't probably able to work out. But he's been without the sling for a while now. So he's probably been cleared to run for I bet you the last 3-4 weeks, and he's always in shape. That's the question. Can he produce and keep in shape today? I don't know. But I think him playing in this game is a huge difference maker.
It definitely is.
Oh, you know who the other player that didn't play in the game first?
Who's that?
Muth. Frymuth didn't play.
That's right. He has recovered from that concussion.
Yep.
But that's nice because you know what? Now Roethlisberger has his main security blanket back in Smith-Schuster. And now he has another one in Pat Frymuth, rookie out of Penn State. So, I mean, 2 security blankets, and you have the long haul guys and Johnson and Claypool.
I swear to God, James Washington's off COVID as well. Ray, don't even take a helmet out there today. Just sit in the locker room.
Kicks, please. Do your job.
I am a little upset, though, with who they deactivated for Smith-Schuster. You see that?
Who did deactivate?
Waitman.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I saw that this
I
morning.
know they don't want to get rid of Presley Harvin because his dad just died. They drafted him, but he's terrible. Waitman's so much better. But I'm telling you, I think I don't look into a lot of this hypothetical, coincidental things. But 7th seed, number 7, 7th Super Bowl.
Going for number 7.
It's there. It's there.
I was going to say something. It slipped my mind.
I'll be interested. I think the over-under, I want to say, is 46.
Yes, that's what they said. I was on ESPN this morning.
And 12.5-point favorite for the Chiefs.
They're saying this is going to be a blowout, what they're saying.
I think the Steelers at least cover.
I do too. I mean, a Mike Tomlin team.
They're not going to lose by 13 in the playoffs tonight.
Roethlisberger's last hurrah. Good friends of his on the team, and Cam Hayward and Smith-Schuster. They're not going to let it happen.
No.
Guys he's been with for,
Ooh. Darrell Williams is questionable tonight.
He's going to play.
But as I'm saying, he's banged up, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 46. I think the over is in play if we cover.
Like we were talking about when we were getting into the studio today. The only way Pittsburgh wins, Harris has to be effective, well over 100 yards. Maybe
He's got to
even
run like he did
200.
against the Browns. He has to run like a maniac.
Roethlisberger only needs to throw it probably 30 times at max. One thing, though, that the Steelers need to win this game, big play. They need a big play on defense,
Yep.
a special teams big play,
Yep.
something, a long ball, a pass
Well,
interference call.
and Ray was doing well returning the ball last week. He had some decent returns on kickoffs and punts. He needs to have.
He's a great return specialist.
Yeah.
He is. And you know what the shame is, we even talked about this already in another show. The Steelers just can't have a return guy.
Nope.
Like New England had a Slater for all those years. Like the Ravens had with Jacoby Jones.
But we can pay Derek Watt $3 million to play on special
Jack
teams.
of all trades guy that can do it all, which is why guys didn't last here. Like Dre Archer didn't last. And that's all Mike Tomlin.
I know. 27-24, Steelers are going to get it done today.
27-24.
You know what's crazy? I was it 6 years ago? We went in there. We won 18-16, and Boswell kicked 6 field goals. I think he'll be involved today. 27-24 puts him with 2 field goals. I don't know. I could see it maybe.
All PATs, though.
Yeah, I could see us.
That's 3 PATs and 2 field goals.
I could also see it like a 23-point win for us. Like we've scored 23 where we scored 2 touchdowns and he kicks 3 field goals. I think he's going to be a big factor. What's the weather supposed to be like? Does anybody know?
I haven't looked yet, but they said they showed the field this morning. There's some snow on it.
Well, they've already had that storm come through.
Probably. It didn't look like they got hit too hard.
And they say 38 degrees at kick. Or no, that's the high today. At kick, hold on.
For 8 o'clock tonight.
Well, I'm trying to.
Really, because, I mean, it says 8:15.
Well, it's Missouri, though. Is that?
Kansas City, Missouri.
No, does that mean it's Central Time?
Yes, they're an hour behind us.
So, like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so it's 7 o'clock.
34. No snow. Could you imagine that the game was being played at home today? Man, it'd be a blizzard. I think we would win 100% if it was a blizzard. But
I do too. I mean, not great depth behind Harris, but I mean,
Benny Snell played okay.
Snell played okay the few times they gave him the football this year. Balaj has played okay the couple times they've given him the football. Anthony McFarland didn't see him that much this year. I'm shocked by that. They were really high on drafted him out of Maryland a few years ago.
Yep. Last thing we'll talk about with this game, and then we'll let you do yours. Talk about what we're wearing today. I brought the Juju jersey back out, but Brennan's got the Steelers' true MVP and Trevor Lawrence out here with his jersey. So
I texted you when I bought this. Remember? I told you I got a Nike gift card for Christmas or whatever. And anyone that knows me or spent more than 5 minutes with me ever, I mean, you've been lucky to know me for how long now?
Oh, wow.
Well over 15 years.
Yep.
I'm 28. Anyone that spent more than 5 minutes with me can tell you my true guy is Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady, everything about him. My guys in waiting are Patrick Mahomes and Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence on at Clemson, but I wasn't hopping on that bandwagon by buying his Clemson jersey. I remember we talked about that before. So I'm wearing the Steelers' real MVP today in Trevor Lawrence. Trevor, thank you. If you ever hear this, I doubt you do. But
great game. All right.
Let's get into my game now.
Go ahead. Go ahead and preview yours.
So here is something interesting. You probably didn't hear this week. Every game this weekend got played in the regular season, except for one.
Really?
49ers and Dallas, which is the game I'm previewing.
Do you think that's because we have 7 freaking teams?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
you've got 2 divisional matchups, right? We had the one yesterday and the one today.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate that, but that's one thing.
Actually, the one Monday night we had the Rams and the Cards.
That's Monday night, yes.
And then we had the Bills and the Pats. But I took the 49ers and the Cowboys. This is my upset special this weekend.
I didn't realize how close this game is, like favorite wise. The money line's
the only game that's like this, really.
Yeah, the money line's a toss up. It's a 3-point spread.
So the NFL season's finally coming to an end. There was a lot of upsets and a lot of surprise teams this season. Now it's playoff time, and any team can win on any day.
Yep.
Which is crazy to think about. Dallas had a great year. 12-5, younger team,
They,
swept the NFC
they
East.
surprised me. I'll give that.
They've been hitting on all cylinders the last half of the year. They're led by quarterback Dak Prescott with a high-flying offense. I mean, Cooper,
Mm-hmm.
Lamb. They just lost Gallup. They still have Schwartz, the tight end. They have Cedric Wilson Jr. Ezekiel Elliott is still outstanding, rushed for 1,000 yards this year.
I ever tell you my Zeke story from college?
No.
I was walking down College Road, which is like the main drive of the student union. Middle of the day. It's like a Tuesday in football season. It's 1 o'clock. There's Zeke driving with his convertible. He had a Chevy Camaro convertible, red one. Just driving around, blasting music, waving to everybody. He wasn't in class, but he's cool with me.
But no, Ezekiel Elliott still rushed for 1,000 yards this season.
He did.
Still. He's
1,002.
on the latter half of his career. I think
which is crazy, though.
Going downhill from here a little bit more.
Because he's only 26.
He's been in the league for like 5 years now.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's about as much as you're going to get out of a running back anymore, 5-6 years.
Yep.
They have a very promising future and two young defensive players in Travion Diggs and Micah Parsons, rookie out of Penn State. Micah Parsons.
Rookie of the year.
Guy can play, to say the least.
It's sad because if Jamar Chase wasn't having the year he was, Micah would have the whole everybody looking at him. But
he's definitely Mike is definitely going to win defense rookie of the year.
Yep.
Overall rookie of the year is probably going to be Jamar Chase.
We'll see what Micah does today. If he has a great game, he can cement his legacy.
The Cowboys are for real. I hate saying that, but they're for real.
I don't know.
I think they can beat anybody. They didn't get the matchup they wanted to this weekend. And that was the 49ers. They didn't want that matchup, and guess what? They got it. But the 49ers had an average season. A lot of people thought they'd be one of those 12, 13-win teams. They managed to win 10 games. The 49ers have a good defense. It's not great. It's good. They can still win them a game.
You know what's crazy with them is that in their last 5 games, they've been in every single game.
Isn't it?
Even the ones they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And they've only lost 1 in the last 5, and that was a 3-point loss to Tennessee. And they beat playoff teams.
That was the last Thursday night game of the year, I think.
Yep. Bengals, won by 3 in overtime. Crushed the Falcons, don't count. Crushed the Texans, don't count. Lost the Titans by 3 and beat the Rams by 3. They've been playing some playoff teams down the stretch. Weird losses, though, on their schedule.
Mm-hmm. They have a jack of all trades, Debo Samuel. What can't this guy freaking do?
Crazy.
He threw a touchdown pass. He lines up as a running back. He lines up as a sidecar, a tight end. What can't this guy do? I think he should be considered for MVP for all the things he's done this year. Jimmy G isn't great, but he can manage a game. There's a lot of options he can go to, and IU, Kittle, Samuel, Mitchell.
Yep.
They haven't run the ball like Kyle Shanahan likes to do. Yes, Kyle Shanahan, like Shanahan's dad. They haven't run the football consistently all year. This is going to be a great game. My upset special for the weekend. These teams haven't met in the postseason for a long time, I think since the 90s.
I forgot how much of a legendary matchup this really is.
You think about games all the time and rivalries in the playoffs. 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Packers, Cowboys, Packers. Those are your big brands in the NFC. New York Giants as well, but they're.
So I want to know, you haven't got to this point yet. Why are you calling it the upset special?
I'm taking Dallas to win, but this is the one game I think the lower seed can win.
That's why I picked them.
And that's why you took the 49ers. Mm-hmm. That's why this is my upset special. If you go back and re-listen or remember our picks, I took every upper seed to win.
Yeah, I almost did. Well, Chiefs, Steelers in this game.
This is the only game I think the lower seed can win.
I don't like a whole chalk bracket because it doesn't work that way. But I was reading into yesterday, a little bit about this matchup. They're saying if the Cowboys lose today, and regardless, if they don't make a run to the Super Bowl, there's a big rumor out there that Jerry Jones wants to prioritize Kellen more than he wants to prioritize Mike McCarthy. He might let Kellen.
I heard Moore is getting interviewed for the Jacksonville job.
Well, this is what I think. Jerry's scared. He doesn't want to lose him. So
you're going to fire Mike McCarthy. The guy's already been there, done that, won a Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Aaron Rodgers carried you the whole way there.
Uh-huh.
Didn't have an outstanding defense. Didn't have an outstanding really anything.
They're talking about
4 straight games.
Talking about saving him and getting rid of McCarthy. He's younger.
And McCarthy will find a job. I mean.
Oh yeah.
But Cowboys escaped the upset.
Okay.
30-24.
All right.
6-point game. I think they go down. They score late.
That's what, the 4 o'clock game?
Yeah, it's the 4:30 game.
Yeah.
4:30 on Fox.
So,
Oh, no, that's on CBS. My fault. The first game is on Fox.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's just nice because Troy Aikman won't be doing the Cowboys game. But Tony Romo will be doing the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
Well, you lose either way anymore, don't you?
Well, we got to listen to freaking Collinsworth tonight. Pretty much just tell the Chiefs how much they love him. Disgusting. While you're doing your preview, a big thing came out by Adam Schefter. Referee Jerome Booger and the officials from Saturday's Raiders-Bengals game are not expected to work again this postseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
All because of that one controversial call.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can clearly watch it. The whistle blows.
It's one thing if the ball is in midair.
It wasn't.
But it wasn't.
It was still in his hand.
If the ball is in midair and the whistle blows, the players need to keep playing. Mm-hmm. And this is why I think within the next handful of years, there's going to be one official on the field, and the rest is all going to be cameras.
I know.
Or robots, and everything's going to be called right.
Did you see? Speaking of coaching and things, did you see our boy Hines Ward got an interview?
Yeah, I wanted to segue into that. The coaching carousel.
Why?
Hines Ward, he was a wide receivers coach for the Jets for a few years.
He's a special assistant to the head coach of Florida Atlantic right now. He's not even in the
receivers coach down there. I mean,
I need to say it though, and people have said this, and I don't feel bad saying this. You know the reason why they did it.
Minority head coach.
Yep, it's 100%. And I feel bad for Hines Ward for that reason. He has no business there yet.
No, you know who they should. Hugh Houston should have been the first one they've been calling. It should have been called Eric freaking Bieniemy from Kansas City.
Yep. I hope he gets a job this year. I really do.
I mean, I think he will. I think that last year it was Patrick Mahomes saying, "Come back, I'm embarrassed how we lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Do it next year." Which all power to him because they have a shot every year as long as he's the quarterback.
Agreed.
But
yeah, how about the Dolphins, man?
That was and I want to say this first. There are teams out there that people and friends friends of mine that get all hyped up when teams hire certain coaches. Robert Saleh was hired by the Jets. Oh yeah, ooh. He's gonna be fired within 2 years.
Yeah.
There's teams that just don't have patience to win.
Nope.
That think they should win.
But the Dolphins were what? 9-8?
Miami was 9-8. They weren't healthy most of the year.
Oh. You got a young quarterback.
For the playoffs late in the year. They ultimately got eliminated. I mean, if Flores would have had that team next year, they probably would have won 10 games and went to the postseason. And then who knows what happens from years to come.
I think it was an internal conflict. The more I read into the story.
I heard he's the one that wanted Watson.
And that's what I think the Dolphins didn't want him.
The Dolphins said, this is our guy. We picked him at number 5 overall.
Yep.
This is our guy, and then you're going to deal with it or you're not going to coach his team.
Watch where he goes. Wherever
Houston might interview him. I'm not sure if it's been officially announced.
Well,
yet.
If Houston wants to keep Watson, that's be the key. He wants him. I feel bad for Houston's coach. I mean, he did a heck of a job with what he had.
Mm-hmm. You didn't have your best player all year.
No.
You let your best one of your best franchise players in the history go and released him because he didn't like the way the organization was going in J.J. Watt.
Mm-hmm.
You traded DeAndre Hopkins for ultimately nothing. And which is a major shame is Billy O'Brien's going to get another crack at the NFL. Because apparently he's hiring the Jaguars job. Not hiring, he's getting interviewed for the Jaguars job.
That's called the coaching school of Nick Saban right there.
I am really hoping that Jacksonville hires Byron Leftwich out of Tampa Bay. I think that'd
be really cool.
I think that's their best move.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows how to groom a quarterback. He was able to work with the GOAT and do what he likes to do and incorporate what he likes to do as well.
I always loved him as a player when he came to play for us for a little bit.
Oh, I like Byron Leftwich when he played for the Jaguars. That one year when he played for Atlanta because they had to get rid of Vic when the whole dogfighting scandal came out. Then he came here for that year. Then he went to Tampa Bay. Then he came back here. Good, gritty player. I think will make an outstanding head coach.
You talk about the coaching carousel too. I'm trying to look this up as we're talking. Local team, Pitt hired Frank Signetti.
Yes.
Offensive coordinator from Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a big, nice hire for them. He's got some ties to Pittsburgh. Pitt.
Yeah, one former Pitt coach quit Hawaii.
Yeah, Todd Graham.
Year 6-6.
I'll be interested. I was scrolling through this guy. His name is Chris Peak. He's a Twitter guru for Pitt. He was tweeting this thing from Pete Thamel, though, that Notre Dame transfer linebacker Shane Simon, who's a 4-star, transferred to Pitt. Pitt, I think, is going to have a great year next year. They got a couple of recruits coming in from the transfer portal. They hit it hard.
I'm curious. If they won 10-2 this year and winning the ACC overall. Playing a New Year's Six game in the Peach Bowl, which they didn't have their best player. And their backup quarterback Shatters is calling around diving for the pile line. Pitt could have a good year next year. I think they're going to win between 9 and 10 games again. Probably play for the ACC title again.
All depends on what the quarterback does. If what's his name from USC comes in and produces, then I think they can have a good year.
Slavis.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk more about some youth or some local sports soon. I think actually finally next week we're going to be able to talk about my high school stuff. Rumor has it they're going to officially release the class or the Whitfield is going to officially do their like what teams are in which sections.
Whip is fighting playing in 5A.
Yeah, they got denied. Did you see that?
I heard they're taking it to higher courts.
I don't know, man. That's a tricky situation. I think Pierre Delay is just stupid with the handle things. Give a little softball preview. I finally, before we get into our last segment, I finalized my roster this week. My girls had told this week to figure are they playing or not, even though we don't start till March.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do.
I mean, you're still going to have to layer them a little bit. Maybe have batting cages out of your gymnasium.
Well, the reason I made them commit by Martin Luther King Day is because we order a customized jersey with their name on the back. Mm-hmm. It's a gold jersey, really sweet. But I have to order them so they get in. So I told the girls that I wanted them to make sure they commit by January, and I got a solid player coming back that didn't play last year. Transfer, Kendall Weston. She's a basketball star here. She Menneson girl. She played 2019 Menneson and was a dirty dozen, like Mon Valley's all-star softball. COVID happened sophomore year. Junior year, she wanted to focus on basketball, but she's coming back for me now, so we'll see. All right, we'll talk more about my roster later. Actually, one of my girls wants to come on and talk softball one time, so she might come up to our podcast. But
I know I'm going to start. I have someone that might be able to come on and do March Madness with us. That was a college basketball champion in college.
Who's that?
My owner of my company, Kevin Lee, won a national championship with Waynesboro.
He wants to come on and talk?
I'm going to ask him to. Yeah,
okay.
So I'm going to talk to him this week at work and see when we get into March Madness and do our bracket breakdown. Do our final four, our championships, see if we can get them to come on for the day.
You know what's sad, speaking of guest pickers and your past work history, could have been cool if we could have brought Lacard on to talk about football.
We might still be able to. Danny and I are still really close friends.
Yeah.
Don't talk every day like we used to or whatever, but maybe I can give him the old text and ask him if he wants to hang out for an hour or two.
All right.
Record a show with us.
Yeah, I think Brennan and I are going to talk maybe this week about potentially bringing on a guest picker here soon. Or not guest picker, but guest.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that. My parents' friends have been telling me they want us to have a caller line. I don't want to do that.
No, that's too hard.
Because I don't want us to get harassed during a show.
Yeah. I want to definitely do a guest soon. I know Grant's been wanting to. He's always sharing our stuff out if you ever see him liking our posts.
Yeah, a big thing, guys, is for us, and we don't do it, and this is partial on us. If you like our show, comment, share, like, subscribe to the YouTube page we have. We're still having problems with Apple Podcasts, if that's ever going to happen.
We're going to get there. At this point. Hopefully tomorrow with my day off, I can work on it a little more.
Yeah, we're going to start working on our intro music here soon.
I got one of the maintenance guys that works in California where I work. He listens to it sometimes. He was telling me about it. He tries to find some podcasts to listen to at night. So, Tuj, if you're listening to this episode, you can come on one day. We can talk. But, all right, let's jump into our last segment so we can get this show wrapped up today. Brennan had a great idea about doing a special segment. We're going to add segments as we go on. It's to kind of structure our day.
These every week doesn't mean we're going to do them every week.
No, but we're going to
Dave and I plan out what we're talking about next week, usually as soon as we wrap up here today in the studio. So I want to segue into this. So the new segment we came up with, I texted you about this one on Monday or Tuesday.
Yep.
It's called Dudes or Ballers. So how this works is we each pick a random athlete, any sport, that has one or multiple good games and classify them over one or multiple games as a dude or a baller.
Right.
So a dude is someone who you think is a guy who's a flash in the pan, has an outlier game or stretch of games.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be good for years to come. A baller is someone who you think can maintain his or her level of play for the season or years to come. So for my first week of dudes or ballers, I took Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Detroit Lions. Here's his last 4 games. 8 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown against Arizona. 8 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown at Atlanta. 8 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown against Seattle. And then 8 catches for under 9 yards and a touchdown against Green Bay.
Wow.
The overall season, he managed 90 catches, 912 yards, 5 total scores.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude or baller, Dave?
I got him as a dude.
I have him as a dude as well. I mean, St. Brown, he looks like a promising player, but I mean, he plays for frickin' Detroit.
Yep.
Who knows what tomorrow even brings in that town? They might not even have Jared Goff as of tomorrow.
Right.
Or, their head coach might get fired. That's going to bite everyone's freaking kneecaps off. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I have St. Brown as a dude, not a baller.
Okay. We're staying the receiver route. I went with receiver out of Indianapolis, played his college ball at USC, 6'4", 223, Michael Pittman Jr. Here's why I picked Michael Pittman Jr. I went on a whole year-to-year kind of a thing, comparative to games. So last year, in 2020, he only had 40 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
This year, he had 40 receptions, 503, and 1 score. This year, he went for 88 catches, 1,082 yards, and 6 scores. The reason I went after him is he's got a big body. He has splash play ability. You look, and he's not consistent yet. So if you look at his statistical lines, last week he had 6 catches for 64 and a touchdown against Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
Week before that against Las Vegas, 6 catches, 47 yards. Arizona, 8 catches, 82. New England, 1 catch, 7 yards. So he's had his 100-yard catches against, LA Rams, San Francisco Giants. He had 10 catches in a game against the Tennessee Titans with 2 scores. What is he? Dude or baller?
Definitely a baller. Quarterback carousel the past couple years. Never really I don't think he even played with Andrew Luck.
No. He played our boy, Phil Rivers.
Quarterback carousel. I mean, Carson Wentz is good. He's not great. I think he can get you to win games. Mm-hmm. Definitely a baller. I'm hoping Indianapolis makes a play for a quarterback this offseason. They're mentioning Derek Carr as a possible replacement there.
What kind of deal is Wentz on right now?
I think this is the last year of his deal. They might just flat out cut him.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I don't know.
I didn't know that.
They were saying on ESPN yesterday that they might just move on after the season and say, hey, thank you for the 1 year.
Huh.
You threw 25 touchdowns and however many interceptions, which wasn't a whole heck of a lot. But definitely baller, Michael Pittman Jr.
I got him as baller. I think he's a star in the making. Excited to see him. Very underrated coming out of college, though, and that's why I picked this. He's young. He wasn't the top receiver coming out. They really didn't predict him to do a lot going into last year with T.Y. Hilton, but T.Y.'s getting older. He was, if you compare the team, I mean, the next person had the next 2 people that had the most receiving, or the most receptions, were 2 running backs. Hines and Taylor both had 40 catches. It was the next person on their team. So, definitely a baller.
Not on Pittman's fault. I think Wentz played very conservative this year.
Yeah.
He's playing for his NFL life.
Well, Taylor, you got Taylor running the ball like everything, so. All right, so we're going to go ahead and slowly wrap the show up today. Interested to see how the NFL playoffs shake out. Definitely interested. We'll be back next week, talk more. And how are we going to name this episode? Number 5.
I'm not sure we'll come up with that later.
I want to be a homer and say episode number 5, Steelers upset Chiefs.
How about Stairway to 7 or bust?
Stairway to 7 or bust. That's not bad.
You like that?
The nice thing is going to be if we actually get there, episode number 7 will be the conference championship weekend.
Yes, it will be.
And it'll be, can we go get number 7? But all right, for Brennan and for Dave, we hope you enjoyed episode number 5, Stairway to 7 or bust. We will see you back here next week. All right. Goodbye, everybody.